Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will start our discussion on routine stool examination. Routine stool examination. Students, although it's a practical demonstration lecture, but for the sake of your convenience, I have decided to discuss with you theoretically. Now, routine stool examination. Student, what is stool? Stool is defined as human excreta which is passed through anus. In composition, human stool consists of following ingredients. Number 1, indigestible food particles. Number 2, bile. It includes both bile pigments as well as bile salts. Number 3, intestinal secretions, including mucus. Number 4, leukocytes. Number 5, shed epithelial cells. Number 6, large number of bacteria. Students, these bacteria, they make up a larger proportion of human stool. Number next, inorganic material. This inorganic material is mostly composed of calcium as well as phosphates. And last one is very small amounts of digested food particles. Okay students, so I repeat the composition of normal human stool. Number 1, indigestible food particles, bile pigments as well as bile salts, intestinal secretions including mucus, leukocytes, shed epithelial cells, large number of bacteria which are part of normal flora of intestine, small intestine as well as large intestine. Inorganic materials including calcium as well as phosphates, and very small negligible amount of digested food particles. Okay students, this was all about composition of normal human stool. Now, for the sake of examination, the normal stool examination consists of 3 components. Yes. G students, for the sake of examination of human stool, there are 3 main components of stool examination. Number 1, physical examination of stool. Number 2, chemical examination of stool. And number 3, microscopic examination of stool. Students, we start with physical characters of stool which are examined. Number 1, color of the stool. Students, the normal color of stool is because of presence of stercobilinogens, and these stercobilinogens, they are produced by bacteria through the decomposition of bilirubin. Normal color of stool, it is because of presence of stercobilinogen, and stercobilinogen is produced by decomposition of bilirubin by bacteria. Students, greenish discoloration. Green color stools are present because of bile. Okay, in adults, and in children, they may be greenish color stools may be present in dysentery, loose stools. Black colored stools. Students, blackish colored stools, they indicate upper gastrointestinal bleeding or increased iron intake by the patient. Red colored stools. Fresh red color in the stool, it indicates lower gastrointestinal bleeding. Lastly, clay colored stool. Students, clay colored stools are indicative of obstructive jaundice. Okay, to repeat once again, we have 5 different colors in stools. Normal colored stools because of presence of stercobilinogen. Greenish colored stools because of presence of bile in the adults, and in children it may be present in diarrhea. Black colored stools because of upper gastrointestinal bleeding or increased iron intake. Red colored stools, they indicate bleeding from lower gastrointestinal tract. And lastly, clay colored stools, it indicates students obstructive jaundice. Okay, now we move towards consistency. Students, third character is consistency of stools. Students, in consistency we have hard stools, which is seen in constipation. Okay, loose stools, these are seen in diarrhea. Amoebic dysentery, loose stools mixed with mucus. It is seen in amoebic dysentery. Okay, students. Now, watery stools. Watery stools are seen in cholera. And lastly, blood and mucus. Students, blood and mucus in the stool may be indicated of any carcinoma or malignancy. So we have 5 different characters regarding consistency of stools. Number 1, hard consistency. It is seen in constipation. Loose stools, diarrhea. Loose stools mixed with mucus, they are seen in amoebic dysentery. Watery stools, large quantity stools, cholera. And blood and mucus mixed with stools, carcinoma of the intestines. Okay, students, this was all about consistency. Now we move toward odor of the stools. Odor means smell. Students, odor means smell. The normal odor of the stools is because of indoles and scatoles. Indoles and scatoles. These indoles and scatoles are produced by bacteria from tryptophan. Students, I repeat, the normal odor of stools, it is because of presence of indole and scatole. And indole and scatole, they are produced by the action of bacteria on tryptophan. It was all about odor. Now students, we move towards chemical examination. Chemical examination of stool. Students, in chemical examination of stool, we observe following characters. Number 1, pH. The normal pH of human stool is from 7 to 7.5. Okay? Occult blood. Students, occult blood is that type of blood present in the stool which is not present with the naked eye, which is not seen with the naked eye, but during microscopic examination it becomes obvious. During different lab tests this blood presence becomes obvious. This is called occult blood. Normally there is no blood present in the stool. To see the presence of occult blood, we have two types of lab test. Benzidine test number 2, orthotolidine test. Students, these two types of tests, they are used to detect presence of occult blood in the stools. Okay? Now, next is urobilinogens. Yes, urobilinogens are present in the stools. Nitrogen. It may be normally present in the stools and it is 1 to 2 grams per day. Okay? 1 to 2 grams of nitrogen is present. Trypsin. Students, trypsin is present in very small amount in adults. Okay? Whereas in children it is present in greater amounts. So, to review chemical examination of stool, we first of all observe pH of stool. It is 7 to 7.5. Occult blood. Occult blood is detected by the presence of two laboratory tests. Benzidine test, orthotolidine test. Number 3, urobilinogen. Yes, it is present in the normal human stools. Nitrogen. Yes, it is present in normal human stools. It may be 1 to 2 grams per day. Next is trypsin. In adults, trypsin is present in very small amounts, whereas in children it is present in larger amounts. G students, we continue our discussion on the topic of routine examination of stool. We have up till now discussed physical examination of stool, chemical examination of stool, now microscopic examination of stool. Students, before going to microscopic examination of stool, there are 3 different methods of smear formation for stool examination. 3 different types of smears are prepared. Number 1, saline preparation. In this preparation, students, normal saline is used for the preparation of stool smear. Second type of smear is of iodine smear. In this case, iodine is used along with stool smear. And third type is, students, this method is used in students, in children, and this method is called cellophane tape method. Students, in cellophane tape method of smear formation, a simple cellophane tape, whitish transparent tape, is attached on the anal opening of the children. Students, the female parasite, it comes out of the anus in the perianal area
during night time. It lays eggs there and again goes to its habitat. Now, when we have attached the tape, eggs are attached, becomes attached to this tape. Then we attach this tape on the glass slide and examine this stool smear. Students, now we move towards microscopic examination of stool. Different types of objects are seen during microscopic examination. It may be, students, food residues. Number two, it may be muscle fibers. Number third, it may be foreign bodies. Number third, student, it may be ova, eggs, cyst or adult parasites. It may be cellulose fibers. So these are routine findings during microscopic examination of stool. Students, the most important aspect is to find out occult blood. Occult blood means any smallest amount of blood which is present in the stool, but it is not visible with the naked eye. Students, occult blood is that smallest amount of blood present in the stool which is seen only under the microscope. Two types of laboratory tests are used for detection of occult blood in the stools. Number one method is called, students, benzidine test. In benzidine test, benzidine reagent is used. The procedure is very simple. First of all, in a test tube, we take small volume of smear. Then we add 5 ml of water in the test tube. Then 1 ml of emulsion and then 1 ml of benzidine reagent. After this, students, we add 3% hydrogen peroxide in the test tube. I repeat, we first of all take small volume of stool, then we add 5 ml of water, then 1 ml of emulsion, then 1 ml of benzidine reagent, and at the last 3% hydrogen peroxide. Students, the principle of benzidine test is very simple. Peroxidase enzyme is present in the heme component of hemoglobin. As you all know, hemoglobin is main component of blood. So this peroxidase enzyme, it liberates oxygen from hydrogen peroxide. As a result of this oxygen production, there is bluish discoloration of stool smear in the test tube. If there is light colored bluish discoloration, it means the test is slightly positive. And if there is dark blue discoloration in the test tube, it means the test, benzidine test, is strongly positive, and positive benzidine test indicates presence of occult blood in the stool smear. Students, second laboratory test is orthotoluidine test. Students, orthotoluidine test is again used for detection of occult blood. In this test, small amount of stool smear is added on the filter paper, and on the filter paper orthotoluidine reagent, few drops are added. As a result, there is discoloration, bluish discoloration of the filter paper after 30 to 50 seconds. Students, again, the presence of bluish discoloration on the filter paper indicates the presence of occult blood in the stool smear. Students, this was all about microscopic examination of stool. Now I will be showing you some pics of ova, cyst, eggs or adult parasites which may be seen in the microscopic examination of stool smear. Thank you, students.